So over the last 2 decades, we've seen these really concerning declines in vulture numbers, and they've been quite rapid declines. And in some populations, in particular whiteback vultures, we've seen declines up to 95%. And pretty recently, most of our resident vulture species were uplisted to either endangered, critically endangered, or vulnerable. So they're all sitting in a precarious conservation state. There aren't really any other scavengers out there that can perform their role as well as a vulture can do. They travel in large groups, they're extremely gregarious, and they travel vast distances in a day. And they're able to clean up a carcass in a matter of minutes. So with that, they likely are reducing the spread of diseases. So if that animal had died from something like tuberculosis or anthrax, those vultures are actually effectively removing that from the landscape.
Look at all these vultures behind me. They're using the thermals. They use the thermals to go up. A vulture's got eyes that can see, in human terms, something probably as small as newsprint at a mile. And, you know, once these guys get a bit of altitude in the rising air of the thermals of Africa here, they can see the whole world, and they can see it with unbelievable binocular vision. So it's the perfect scavenger for Africa.
Over the years, we've worked on hundreds of vultures. I think in total, we've tagged in advance of 300 birds, and that's of all 5 resident vulture species that we work on here in southern and East Africa. So our program is effectively centered on robust science. The more we understand about an animal, the better we can conserve them, and implementing things like GPS tracking so we can see how animals interact with the landscape and what habitats they need to forage and to breed so we can protect those habitats too.
So like all conservation, what's got to come first is an understanding of the species. And so working with people like Gareth and his team, getting tags on these vultures, starting to understand the movements, starting to understand the length and the breadth of these movements. I mean, these wing tags and these backpack tags are amazing. They've given the vulture specialists knowledge that they've never had before. And groups like EWT, the Endangered Wildlife Trust, with a whole arm of their organization focusing on vultures, have got this wealth of knowledge of the species.
Okay, there we go.
The initial thing is they're going to be getting rings around the legs, so SAF rings, metal rings on there. And with these 3, we're going to be putting colored wing tags.
Vultures have a very bright hope if we put our investment in these people on the front line. So, you know, next time you think about a vulture, don't think of some ugly scavenger. Think of an important and crucial component to a healthy ecosystem.